This Ag News Update brought to you by American Implement, dedicated to the past, committed to the future. In a moment, Colin Woodall, CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association.
When you've had a best friend for over 50 years, you develop a trust. And the Scott Co-op has been a trusted rural friend since 1957. A co-op keeps money in the area, doing business for and with their members. And that helps keep their hometown thriving with keeping money in the community. Scott Co-op is not just an elevator. It's the rural way of doing business. So, when you see an elevator, remember your friends at Scott Co-op.
Day and night, till the job is done, Teeter is the one that works for you. Fields of green, reaching toward the sun, Teeter is the one that works for you. Teeter is the one, Teeter is the one that works for you. Teeter Irrigation, your source for water management.
Our guest now, Colin Woodall, who is the CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Of course, Colin, you and I have talked for a number of years, so you have made the move out west.
Indeed, taking over as CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, and really excited about not only the opportunities, but also taking on the challenges that are coming our way.
Well, and you bring that up because that's the first thing I want to start with. You literally hit the ground running with editorials to stake the claim the NCBA has in the cattle business.
That's right. What you're going to see from NCBA moving forward is more of a pointed approach in our communications. We're going to make sure that we are defending ourselves. I don't think we've done a very good job of defending ourselves in the past, and we're going to step up and fight and make sure that the fake news and the misinformation is going to be corrected. And we started that with a pushback on OCM, Organization for Competitive Markets. They came out with basically a press release that said that we were writing ourselves checks for $27 million, meaning checkoff. And we had to jump in and just correct the record. So that's not how the checkoff works. We're one of 8 contractors, and it's the Beef Promotion Operating Committee that makes the decision, not NCBA writing a check to themselves. We got a lot of positive feedback on that. People are tired of a lot of the dissent and the detractors, especially within the cattle business, and it's time to just get on to things that really are important to us.
You've had staff, ranch leaders doing other opinion pieces on what the checkoff means, what sustainability means, how those things are invested really to the betterment of anybody that raises cattle.
That's right. We had one just last week where we were talking about WWF, World Wildlife Fund, and our engagement with the U.S. Roundtable for Sustainable Beef, the Global Roundtable for Sustainable Beef. There's been a lot of people who have said that we are selling out to World Wildlife Fund, when in fact just the opposite is there. We're there to hold them accountable, and because of that, they've actually written some very positive articles about the role ranchers play in the management of rangeland. We would not have gotten that had we not been sitting at the table. So again, it's just making sure that we are correcting the misinformation and getting the record truly to reflect what's going on.
Okay, let's get into some issues. Let's talk. I guess as we lead off something that you and I have talked about on the radio side for seemingly almost forever. NAFTA 2.0, USMCA. Now it seems like as close as we're just as far away as maybe when we started.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're just so close. It's ready. The votes are there. If we were to vote this afternoon, it would pass. But this is all about politics, and now with the impeachment hearings, we just don't know when we're going to get that vote. I do believe we'll still get a vote, and when it comes up, as I said, it will pass and we'll move forward. The timing is just uncertain. Now, it could happen before the end of the year, but there's going to have to be a lot of stars aligned to make that happen.
Colin Woodall, the CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, is with us. We're going to take a break, talk more issues in just a moment.
S&S Trailer Sales, with 2 locations in Ness City, Kansas, is where everybody goes to buy or rent trailers. They feature the all-new, all-aluminum Mauer grain trailer with all of the electric options, the easy-to-load detached trailers, and a huge stock of header trailers. At the west location, you'll find bumper poles, goosenecks, and oilfield specialty trailers, along with flat and utility beds for pickups. S&S Trailer Sales in Ness City and on the web, but remember, you do have to spell out the and.
Would you like to see something done about high gas prices and low unemployment? Western Plains Energy in Campus, Kansas is doing something about it. They're a proud part of Growth Energy, America's ethanol supporters, and they employ 38 people and will be adding more following the expansion. Ethanol fuel not only reduces the cost of regular gasoline, it's good for the environment and keeps money right here in the United States while supporting local rural jobs. Western Plains Energy, doing something for the future.
Our guest this week, Colin Woodall, the CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Electronic logging devices, that's something that NCBA has been your priority issue for this year.
It has been. You know, we are the ones that led the charge to exempt livestock from electronic logging devices. We have been able to maintain that exemption, but that's not the end of the story. We still need to make sure that we are fixing hours of service, because this is all about the number of hours that you can run. Now, we do have legislation that we have supported that's been introduced. It's called the TREAD Act. And what it does is it provides a 150 air mile exemption for livestock haulers on the back end of a haul. We currently already have that 150 air mile exemption on the front end of the haul. So if we can get it on both ends and book in that trip, we think it's going to go a long way in making sure that a trailer is not going to have to pull over with a load of cattle on the side of the road.
Another issue is that's you worked hard on in NCBA. That's the relaunch of WOTUS, Waters of the U.S.
You know, the 2015 Obama WOTUS rule has been repealed. It's gone, finally, after all of these years. But we have to fill that void. We still have to make sure that there's a determination of what is truly a waters of the United States. And so the replacement rule is coming out very soon. It's still going to protect water quality. That's extremely important to us. But it's also going to protect private property rights, which is not what the Obama rule did. It basically opened up farms and ranches to all sorts of regulation by the Army Corps of Engineers and EPA. The new rule will not do that.
Immigration reform, there's been another bill been introduced, the Democrat side who are running the House. Is that going to gain any traction?
It won't. And even if it does and passes out of the House, the Senate's not going to hear it. So unfortunately, this is a presidential election year now going into 2020, and they're not going to touch it. They need to touch it. Immigration reform is extremely important. We need it to make sure that we have workers, feedlots, workers in packing plants. And that was one of the concerns that we had with that piece of legislation that was introduced. It really was for seasonal workers. It wasn't for the year-round workers that we need. Right. So it was not a perfect bill.
Before we let you go, also let's just do a follow-up of the fire that took place in southwest Kansas a few months ago. A lot of folks up in arms wanting to get to the bottom of it. The NCBA was one of those that really worked to try to dig in to find some answers. What do we know as far as the impact it had on the market?
Right. So definitely a crash in the market. We have seen that market recover. The CEO of Tyson has come out and said that plant will be opening probably by the end of the year. But the key is the investigation being conducted by USDA. They're in the process of gathering information, analyzing data, and we expect to see something probably earlier in the year. But we still need that definitive answer of what happened and who was responsible. So once we get that, I think we'll have more to work on.
All right. Always good to see you. Thanks, Colin.
Thank you, Ken.
Colin Woodall, the CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, has joined us. Stay with us. More in a moment.
Wolfter Construction and Irrigation has been around a long time, and a lot of folks have trusted them to design, build, and service all sizes of commercial and on-farm storage for grain and equipment. Wolfter is also known for their outstanding irrigation division, where they stock a complete selection of nozzles, regulators, drops, gear drives, electrical, and structure components. Looking for an electric motor? Wolfter has a large selection in single and three-phase. Next time, reach out to the pros who have decades of experience at taking care of business the right way. Wolfter Construction and Irrigation.
The cost of everything has gone up dramatically over the last 75 years. With one exception: keeping electricity affordable.
Wheatland Electric, delivering energy for life, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
That's an Ag News Update. Listen for market updates and agriculture news important to you on 1030 KBUF. Also be social with us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Ken Rahjes. Thanks for watching.